Hi, welcome back to the channel. So glad you could be here. I'm Holly. Today we're reading Reddit. Let's get into it. Am I the asshole for not letting my sister use my apartment as her engagement party backup plan? My sister is getting engaged soon. I say soon because her boyfriend already told the whole family that he is proposing this month, and now everyone is acting like it's a national event. She originally booked a private room at a restaurant for the engagement party. Nothing crazy, just drinks and small plates. Then last week she called me and said the restaurant wanted a bigger deposit than she expected and asked if she could just do it at my apartment instead. I live alone in a 2-bedroom apartment. I keep it pretty nice, but it's not a party space. Also, I have neighbors who complain if someone breathes too loud after 10 o'clock. She said it would only be about 18 people. Then later I found out she invited 31. I told her no, mainly because I don't want that many people in my place, and also because I have a new couch and a cat who hates strangers. She got really quiet and said I was making her feel embarrassed because she already told people the party might be at my place. She shouldn't have told people without your permission. My mom thinks I should just do it because I have the biggest place in the family and because my sister is stressed. My sister also made a comment like, "You're spending so much time on my gift anyway, why not just let me use your apartment?" Which annoyed me because me spending money doesn't mean my apartment is a free event hall. Now she says I ruined the vibe around the proposal before it even happened. Oh, jeez. I told her she could come over after with her fiancé and we could celebrate small, but I'm not hosting a full engagement party. Am I the asshole? No, she needs to be respectful of your boundaries and your space, of course. And mom expecting you to just cater to her is kind of ridiculous. This commenter says, not the asshole, she needs to plan better. Protect your space and your cat. Yeah, protect your cat. Am I the asshole for booking our own lodging last minute instead of staying at an Airbnb with the rest of my extended family? My family is going to a wedding this weekend in a small beach town. Months ago, we started looking at houses where all of us could stay together. The goal was to be close to the wedding venue and the beach, because that's the whole reason we're spending the weekend there. It wasn't easy to find a house for rent in town that could fit everyone. My mom clearly wanted to handle it, despite not being able to find much. For context, my husband and I have a 1-year-old son, so travel is a lot different for us now. While we're flexible and easygoing, we're limited by his naps and bedtime. Yeah, understandable with a 1-year-old. Without really discussing it with any of us, my mom booked a rustic cabin in the woods about 30 minutes from the wedding and the beach. She didn't send us the listing beforehand or ask what we thought. She just booked it. My mom has a pattern of impulsively booking things without doing her due diligence. Today I looked at the listing more clearly. I realized it doesn't really seem like a good setup for us. There are only 3 bedrooms, while there are 3 couples and a baby going. The basement bedroom, the only one that looks like it has room for a pack and play, one of those playpens, has a walkout sliding door and appears to have unfinished trim, exposed insulation around the door. Ooh. The upstairs bedroom doesn't appear to have a door, and it's super small. The upstairs office that my mom suggested my son and I could sleep in isn't actually a room. It's an open loft at the top of the stairs with a desk. She also told me there was a playroom where my son could sleep, but there isn't. There's just some board games in one of the bedrooms that she assumed was a playroom from the pictures. She clearly didn't spend enough time reviewing the accommodations before booking. On top of that, being 30 minutes away changes the entire weekend. Every trip to the beach or into town becomes an hour round trip. With a 1-year-old that still naps, that means we're either driving constantly or missing out on this reason we came. We know we'll probably want to be in town at least once a day. To make matters worse, we literally just got back from another trip with our son, and it was exhausting. I feel completely burned out. Knowing I have to pack everything up again in 2 days, I really want accommodations that make traveling with a baby easier. That's fair. The frustrating part is that I had originally suggested staying at a bed and breakfast that's only 5 minutes from the beach and the wedding, but my mom dismissed the idea. I checked today and they still have a room available. The room also has a sitting room to the side that would be perfect for my son to sleep. I'm thinking about booking that room just for me, my husband, and our son, while my parents, my brother, and his girlfriend can stay at the cabin. I feel guilty because I know my mom may have her feelings hurt, but I also wish she had talked to us before booking a place that affects all of us. It feels like she made a decision for everyone, and now we're trying to make it work after the fact. Am I the asshole if we stay at the B&B instead of the cabin? Edit. To clarify, I offered to pay for our portion of the house and my mom said not to worry about it, so it makes no financial difference. Plus, with the 4 of them, the 2 adequate bedrooms will still be occupied and no one will have to sleep in the basement bedroom. Also, I booked a room for us to stay so that we can walk to the beach, wedding, and downtown. I feel super relieved. Good for you. I don't think you're the asshole. You need accommodations for your son, and it doesn't sound like the cabin that your mom picked is going to be the right setup for you. So do what's best for you and yours. This commenter says, not the asshole, lock it in before you miss out. You'll regret staying at the cabin, speaking as a parent. Naps are sanity requirements for parents, and the extra travel time also adds to your exhaustion. I'd tell your mother that you needed the extra room and thought they'd appreciate that as well. Am I the jerk for not giving back a concert ticket after my friend suddenly decided the plans were hers? My friend is mad at me, and I don't know if I'm being stubborn or if she's being ridiculous. A few months ago, she told our group chat that this small band we all used to listen to in college is doing a reunion show. Not a huge band or anything, but one of those random bands that meant a lot during a certain part of life. She sent the link and said, someone should buy these before they sell out. Nobody answered for like 20 minutes, so I bought 3 tickets. One for me, one for her, and one for our other friend. They were not expensive, like $38 each after fees. Nice, I like it. You just jumped right on it. She paid me back the next day. The other friend forgot for a while, but eventually paid too. I kept the tickets in my account because I was the one who bought them. Now the show is next week, and my friend just told me that she does not want the other friend going anymore because of some tension between them. She said since she was the one who found the show, she should get to decide who goes, and I should transfer the other ticket to her so she can invite someone else instead. I said no. The other friend paid for it, so it's their ticket. My friend said that I was taking sides, and that she only even told us about the show because she wanted it to be our thing. I told her that if it was that personal, she should have bought the tickets herself instead of dropping the link in the group chat like a weather alert. She then said she might not go if the other friend goes. I said, okay, I can send her her ticket and she can sell it or whatever. Now she's saying that I ruined the whole night and made it about money. I really did not. I do good on that part, and I'm not stingy, but I'm not about to pay the other friend back out of my own pocket just because the rules changed a week before the show. The awkward part is the friend does not even know any of this yet. They still think we're all going together. Am I the jerk for refusing to give my friend control of the extra ticket? Absolutely not. This girl, wow. What a B word. I'm sorry, I don't like this girl. This commenter says, I find it hard to believe that this girl graduated college. Cold. Send her the ticket she paid for and tell her it's hers to sell, use, or trade for a different seat because you and your other friend will be going. Let her pout and hope she matures in the future at some point. Am I the asshole for turning around and driving 12 hours back to Michigan instead of taking my sister to our family beach house? I, 26 female, live in Michigan with my boyfriend, 26 male. I'm a school speech language pathologist. Ooh, there's a mouthful. So I have summers off, and my boyfriend works remotely, which gives us a lot of flexibility when we travel. We had driven from Michigan to North Carolina to visit my parents for about 2 weeks. Since we were driving 12 hours home afterward, we had absolutely everything with us, including over 2 weeks' worth of luggage, our dog, his crate, dog food, and all of his supplies. Originally, we were planning to drive straight back to Michigan on June 30th. However, my parents own a beach house in Myrtle Beach, and my mom invited one of our longtime family friends, who also lives in Michigan and has known our family our entire lives, to stay there for a few days. My younger sister, 22 female, decided she wanted to go too. Everyone thought it would be fun if we all spent a couple of days together before my boyfriend and I headed home. So my boyfriend and I changed our plans. Instead of leaving June 30th, we extended our trip until July 2nd. Rearranged our travel plans, used additional paid time off on my boyfriend's end, and planned our drive around making the beach trip work. The plan was my boyfriend and I would drive my sister from my parents' house just north of Charlotte to Myrtle Beach. We'd all spend a couple of days there with my mom and our family friend. Our sister would ride back to North Carolina with my mom afterward. My boyfriend and I would leave for Myrtle Beach and make the 14-hour drive back to Michigan. The day before we were supposed to leave for Myrtle Beach, my sister announced that she was spending the night at a friend's house in the Raleigh area, about 2 hours away from my parents' home, instead of coming home. My boyfriend and I wanted to leave around 7 a.m., so we'd get to Myrtle Beach around lunchtime and actually enjoy most of the day. My dad even texted my sister asking if she could come home earlier because he knew we'd already rearranged our travel plans around taking her. She refused. She didn't get home until 9:15 the next morning. By that point, my boyfriend and I had already packed the SUV. To give you an idea of how full the car was, 2 weeks' worth of luggage, our dog's crate, dog food, dog supplies, everything we'd need for the drive back to Michigan, plus my sister's things. My sister only needed clothes for 2 days at Myrtle Beach, where there were already towels, toiletry, and pretty much everything else that she'd need. She came outside with a full-size suitcase, a duffel bag, and a large cooler. We unloaded and reloaded the SUV at least 4 times trying to make everything fit. Eventually we did. Barely. I actually volunteered to keep multiple bags at my feet so my sister wouldn't have anything on the floor in front of her. I was basically sitting cross-legged because there wasn't enough room for my legs. Everyone was cramped. Nobody was riding comfortably. Before we had even backed out of my driveway, my sister started complaining that she didn't have enough room. She immediately asked me to move my seat up. I told her genuinely I couldn't. There was nowhere for me to move. She rolled her eyes and started muttering things under her breath loud enough that everyone could hear that she was upset. Sounds like a brat. I consciously decided not to engage. I wanted us to get to the beach. I kept reminding myself that everyone was uncomfortable and that it was only about a 4-hour drive. A minute later, she asked for my phone charger. It was actively plugged into my phone, but I simply unplugged it and handed it to her because I didn't want to start an argument. Then she started repeatedly pushing her knees into the back of my seat. What is she, 5? I ignored it. She kept doing it. I still didn't react. A few minutes later, she escalated again by stretching both of her legs between the front seats so that her feet were hanging between my boyfriend and I's head while he was driving. That was where I finally said something. I asked her if she could please move her feet. She said no. I asked again. I acknowledged that everyone was uncomfortable. I apologized that I couldn't create any more room because there simply wasn't any. I reminded her that my boyfriend and I had completely changed our travel plans, extended our stay, and planned our drive around taking her to Myrtle Beach because she wanted to go. I told her everyone was making sacrifices to make the trip happen. She still refused to move her feet. At that point, I finally said something along the lines of, if this is what the next 4 hours are going to be like, we're turning around. You can drive yourself, and we will just drive back to Michigan now. Without hesitating, she replied, great, do it. We were only a couple miles from getting onto the interstate. My boyfriend turned the car around. On the drive back, my sister called my mom. She sounded completely calm and said something like, hi, Mommy, I think Sarah and Mike are just going to drive back to Michigan, but I'm still coming. My mom asked what happened. My sister handed me the phone. I explained everything while crying because by this point, this no longer felt like it was about a car ride. While I was trying to explain, my sister was yelling over the back seat. By the time we got to my parents' house, we were both yelling. She got out of the car and started unloading her things. While I was still talking to my mom, she started screaming at me to give her her phone back. I locked the doors because she was so angry. She started banging on my windows and yelling. When she finally walked away for a second, I set her phone on the ground beside the car. She came back, punched my car door, leaving a nice dent, got in her own car, and drove towards Myrtle Beach by herself. She could have driven herself this whole time. My mom's response was essentially that my sister and I needed to figure it out ourselves, and that I should be the bigger person because I'm the older sister. Yeah, Mom, I don't think so. So my boyfriend and I left and began the 12-hour drive back to Michigan. Later that day, I noticed my sister's location was at a gas station off the highway and hadn't moved for hours. So I called my dad to figure out what was going on. He told me that she had gotten a flat tire and ended up stranded waiting several hours for roadside assistance. Karma. My dad later told me that he was on his way to pick her up, and my parents were trying to figure out how to get her to Myrtle Beach still. Meanwhile, my boyfriend and I completed the entire drive back to Michigan. Neither of my parents called or texted to ask if we had gotten home safely or to check on us after everything that happened. The reason this affected me so deeply is because, to me, it wasn't really about the cramped car. Everyone was uncomfortable. It wasn't really about the beach. I would have loved to go. It was that I felt like I spent the entire beginning of the trip trying to keep the peace, repacking the car multiple times, giving up my own legroom, handing over my phone charger, ignoring the comments under her breath, ignoring my seat being kicked, apologizing that I couldn't physically move, and repeatedly trying to acknowledge that everyone was uncomfortable. Also trying to accommodate my little sister, who I was already bending over backwards for. I feel so disrespected, and my parents' reaction makes me feel like I didn't even deserve the basic respect. The moment I finally set a boundary, the entire trip ended. So, am I the asshole for turning the car around instead of trying to endure 4 hours of conflict? Ha! Girl, absolutely not. Oh, you're not the asshole. Your sister is an entitled little brat. Oh my goodness. And it sounds like your parents just give in to whatever she wants. This commenter says, your parents suck. They're the reason your sister sucks too. Probably. Repeat all the things you already did to be the bigger person when your sister deserved none of your grace, and ask your parents whether they expect to keep taking care of this grown toddler for the rest of her life. Good thing you've got 12 hours between you. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a lovely day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below. Bye!